After a lifetime of chaos and personal battles, UFC bantamweight Jessica Rose Clark has finally found the key to happiness. And for her, it's a simple life. Growing up in a large nomadic family in Northern Australia, Jessie Jess learned early on how to adapt and thrive in any situation. Her travels have now landed her in Northern California, where she relishes a stripped-down lifestyle and has found the ideal team to help her reach her potential. Jessica shares her story in Fighter Focus.
I really am in the best position I've ever been in my life. I love living the way that I do now. I'm a gypsy. Being in this camper has been the first time where I've been so thankful to be where I want to be. It just feels free. I don't feel like I have all these things attached to me. I'm grown into my own and less concerned with what people think of my lifestyle. But it's been a long journey to get here. I don't think I ever had any form of traditional childhood. I was this girl from Australia, who grew up in the forest. When my parents got divorced, I had a lot of resentment at that because I wanted a relationship with my dad. Once he left, I never saw him. He was never a father figure to me. A lot of my anger came from that. We started going on this journey with my mum. We traveled around the van for a long time. There were 5 of us and 2 dogs, always. I was homeschooled for a long time. I started going to public school when I was 10. My mum sent me away to live with my grandma. When I went to school, I was like, oh, I don't know how to talk to any of you, I didn't know what toys were, I didn't know what the TV shows were. That was when I really realized how different my upbringing was. At that point, I had a lot of anger issues. When my grandma passed away, that was when I just kind of lost my mind. She was the one who always said, never dumb yourself down just because you're a woman. She was just the best person. I didn't handle my grandma passing at all. That was when I started drinking. Just one of the worst times of my life. I was 20 or 21. I started dating this kickboxer. He was come to a kickboxing class. First day, that was it. That was the first time that I really got to express myself. I knew it in my soul that I was where I was supposed to be. I'd found my place. I started fighting. Fighting really became a reality. I'd fought all the names on the Australian scene. I'd had all the titles. Then the boy and I broke up, and we had a very traumatic and violent breakup. We're just becoming so toxic. Anyone who's had issues with addiction is going to understand exactly what I mean. That relationship was an addiction. I ran away to not go back into that situation. And if I really wanted to get to where I wanted to get to, which was the UFC, I needed to be local. There was nothing for me left in Australia. I got to Vegas with 2 bags, that was it, a bag of training gear and a bag of clothes, and I think I had $200. That was an important turning point. I really committed to my career.
She lives in the gym. She's always training, she's always in shape. She's proven that she can hang with the best in the sport.
9 months later, I get this phone call, which was the UFC. Hey, do you want to fight 10 days notice in Sydney?
Live from the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, Jessica Rose Clark makes her UFC debut.
The vision I'd always had was walking out at that stadium in front of thousands of people and seeing my name up on those screens. I'm holding back tears. That was what I'd be working towards, was that exact moment. It was just so perfect.
Clark accepted the late notice call.
This is good work for Jessica Rose Clark. The variety of the striking, boxing, low kicks and knees, finishing on top strong.
Jessica Rose Clark!
And I go from my debut straight into this other huge fight, co-main event against Paige.
Clark lands the right.
Won that one, and then straight away got signed to fight Jessica.
No! Nice overhand from Clark.
It was just like one fight after another. I had that to distract myself. And I'd had this vision in my head that, you know, once I got signed to the UFC, like my life was gonna get easier. And it didn't. When I would come home and I was by myself again, all this negative self-talk starts coming up. I don't deserve to be here, like I'm a piece of shit. All the negative things that my ex used to say to me would come up. I was at my lowest points. So I would go from training all day, then I would drink all night, then I would go to sleep, get back up, train all day, go and drink all night. My like drunkest party girl stage, you know, trying to fight someone in a nightclub in New York. I was self-sabotaging. It was these like happy moments followed by these epic crashes. I lost to Jessica I.
Beautiful takedown.
Now she's going to finish strong. Jessica Evil I!
Finally went like, no, I need to figure myself out. I left Vegas to move to California. And then that's when I saw CSA.
We have a lot of fighters that found their way here after maybe falling down a little bit. It was kind of the perfect time and the perfect place for somebody like Jesse.
The instant I met Coach K, I was like, I've found it. He was so just sweet and friendly. It took me 8 years to get here. I knew I was gonna stay here.
And ready. Good. I think she'll always be kind of a nomad. This is a good stop for her for a little consistency.
That's it.
There's a real connection that she and I have we can do really good things with, and I think we've proven that with wins against quality opponents.
Breathe, relax.
Yes, sir.
Clark talked a lot about overcoming some issues. She's leaned on her coaches. Oh, great effort overall for Clark thus far. Oh, that's a clean knee. This fight's over.
That's enough. That's enough.
Jessica Rose Clark!
Because of what she's been through, she's able to rebound.
Good job.
If one were going to put a picture of fighter in the dictionary, it would be Jessie Jess.
Now I'm finally in a space where I can live the life that I want to live. Finally have a good relationship with my family. I have close friends for the first time in my entire life. I finally have the coach that I've been working towards for 10 years. The more I can accept and love who I am and what I do, the more I can provide that example for other people, and whether they've had issues with addiction, whether they've had issues with abuse, whether they've had a rough upbringing, whatever it is. Even if what you want to do goes against what other people tell you that you should do, or goes against societal norms, or goes against tradition, if that's what makes you happy and makes you feel fulfilled and makes you feel like a whole happy person, like, do it. That you don't have to fit into this box that you're told you have to fit into. What I needed to do, make my home life as happy as my professional life is. And I've done that now, finally.